Hi everyone, this is Danny for Danny Tutorials. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm gonna show you how to make a super cute bunny decoration. Okay, I'm gonna interrupt myself just to talk to you guys and show you guys this cute little bunny in person. And actually it's just because I wanted to say that you guys gonna see me with the band-aid on my hand. I cut my finger. 4 stitches later, I needed to go to the ER, and I had pneumonia like a month ago, so they made another x-ray and my lungs are not clean. So I got the COVID-19 test done and it's completely horrible, and now I need to wait up to 10 days to know the results, and I'm freaking out and going crazy. So I'm making a lot of videos for you guys. Let's keep busy, and that's all. I hope everybody's safe, stay home, and let's go back to the video. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet, and press the bell buttons for more notifications. And we're gonna start this little tiny bunny by the fence. I wanted him to be jumping on the fence and waiting and watching, so I'm gonna open a very skinny snake, and that doesn't need to be straight or perfect, and I'm going with the tool start marking it down, some graves and grains on the wood, so you can make the knot of the wood where it's like a little bump on the center, and then all the little lines around. I'm just going with the flow, nothing special. I know that a lot of people have like texture rolling pins, then it's like wood and things like that, but it's so tiny. Then I just wanted to have the details, so when I use the chalk pastel, and I can make those details like really pop. And I'm gonna make it the same thing with another one for the bottom part. I will leave the picture, then I got inspired to make this bunny. I saw this picture on Pinterest one of the nights and I couldn't sleep, and I thought they were so cute. And since it's Easter almost here, it was like next weekend, and we probably gonna still be in quarantine and stuck in here, so I decided to just make a decoration and make the kids feel a little bit on a normalcy, I guess, since they worry about it because they know that I did the test, they know when I went to the hospital, so they kind of, but I feel great, so I'm not worried. And I have been here for like more than 3 weeks, so I'm not getting anybody sick if in the case I have it. And then in the picture that I'm using as a reference, as an inspiration, the part of the fence that is holding those woods, they are purple, like a very pastel kind of color palette, I would say the whole picture is, and that's what I want to keep it like purple, light blue, very pastel Easter colors. And I'm making the same thing to those 2 pieces, but those I'm not flattening out. As you can see, they are rounded because I thought that they will look even more like a fence. And I'm separating the top part, like if the wood was broken, not perfect, and also because I want to put some pictures. I want to put some flowers and on the top of there, just to give a little more detail. And I think that's what inspired me. I saw that picture and I got some dry real flowers that are so pretty and such a pretty colors, and I decided to make this. So it's kind of like your brain kind of suck it up all the inspirations and the pretty things and all the talent people have out there, and then you come together and you have your own ideas. So that's basically what happened in this one. My head's going crazy because of this virus and all this result I need to wait for, and it's Easter coming, the kids asking about the Easter bunny, if the Easter bunny is in quarantine, and I want them to see then our life is a little normal. So it's a little bit of everything, I guess, right? As you can see, I make the knots and then I go with just lines around, and I love this purple lilac color. I'm going to start the bunny with the ears because I want them to be as the same as the fence, a little bit dry, so I can start putting it together. So I made a long teardrop shape, and I'm flattening out. I'm flattening, but it's too thick because I want it to look like very cute. and I'm just gonna bend it, the ear, and I'm gonna open a little tiny like light skin color, and I'm going to make the center of the ear and at the bottom, like inside of the ear. And I'm just gonna use anything straight, like a tool or anything, to make like you sew, like it's a bear, like a teddy bear, like a stuffed animal. It has those little sewed stitches. I guess I'm in a stitch mood since I got my fingers stitch. It was after this video, so this video you guys are not seeing the band-aid yet because I have the videos planned ahead, but I didn't want to just show up with the finger, you know, with the band-aid in the video and don't explain for you guys what happened and why this week kind of had a delay for videos. That's for that too. So as you can see, I just made those little details around and make some little lines to give a little bit more life on the ear, and I am going to curve a little bit the way I want it to dry, and I'm gonna use my rolling pin to keep this drying and the shape I want it to be. And I'm making the same thing to the other side. And I made this little square because I wanted to put as like, you know, a piece of fabric, you know, that's sewed by, then is super cute and has on the picture. And then I thought, it would be so cute if I put it there too. But once I folded the ears and I put it on the piece, you kind of don't see it. That's why I'm not even showing, but I just put a little piece, a square white just right there. If you want it to do that, just don't put it where your ear's curving, because then you're not going to see it. Sometimes when you see a drawing that's a 2D and then you try to transform to a 3D shape, some things need to be changed in places. And then I learned that after all. I just made 2 balls and teardrop shapes separated with the go back and forth your finger, and I'm making those little footsies. One is smaller than the other, so I started with the balls in the different sizes because one foot I wanted to appear then is under the other one, so I'm already using less clay because in reality I cannot hide anything under because it would be too thick and too out, like it would look weird. So I'm making it smaller to give the impression that it's under, but I don't have all the excess clay that need to go somewhere. And I'm just marking to give a little of those, you know, folding to make things cuter. And I'm put all this up, flatten out, and cut the excess off. And I'm going to let it dry a little bit, at least for an hour before I start trying to put anything together. And we're gonna make the same thing to the other foot, but this one is a little bigger and I'm not gonna fold it. It's gonna be very rounded and fluffy on the bottom. So as you can see, I just mark the bottom and the front to be very fluffy and like rounded, and I get the excess to the top, cut it the size I want, and finish getting all the marks off. Here we go. And I am also putting in the place, so when you're making foot, remember that you need one right and one left, even though they are it's a bunny, so it doesn't really have that. But if you just twist it, the top part a little tiny bit, it makes a difference, you know. And then now you're putting them both together, and that's, you can see what I was saying. Then one looks that's under. And now I'm making the little tiny little mouse that is next to him on the drawing. Then I fell in love because it's the cutest thing ever. So I made 1 ball for the face and 2 balls for the arms, and another one then I'm just marking the center to be the little footsie that is under the fence. And I open a snake, cut it in place. I just need a tiny little tail to go with him, and I'm gonna already place that tail between the legs to let it dry like that. So I just push there and put it together, and that's the only thing you're gonna see under the fence from the little mouse. So he's not gonna really have a body, he just have the head and the tail under. And I folded, see, I left the little excess of clay so I can glue it in the back of the fence. And now I'm using the same color that I used for the inside ears of the bunny to just make two little inside different colors on the little mouse too, because it makes them look cuter and more like a stuffed animal-ish. And then I use my ball tool to flatten out, and then I'm gonna cut in half that circle and just bend it a little bit to be like a C. Normally I will make one circle and cut it and use both sides for each one of the sides of the ears, but I don't know why I didn't do this today. I don't know. But that's all. If you make one and cut it in half, you can use for both sides and don't need to make two. That makes sense? It does, right? So now I'm just gonna place right there. As you can see, I'm mark an indentation on the face just to give that impression. Then we always separate where the eyes are going to be, even though I'm not placing anything. I'm just marking with the pens after. And then I'm making a little hole to put our pink little nose. And marking the center of the nose, the top, just a little indentation line to give that little face even cuter look. And I made a teardrop shape, put it right there, and a tiny little scissor, I'm just gonna cut in little pieces to give him a little fur hair, little detail up there. So now we're going to start on his body, and I'm just making a teardrop shape and marking for once he is dry, I can place the legs. And I really want to put the legs inside because it makes him look a little bit more cute. I don't know, like makes more like a big belly. I don't know. And as you can see, I'm just folding. The back is going to be curved, but the front's not going to have that part. Like where is the indentation is where the fence is going to be. The same way that we don't want the feet to be too thick and then need to be extra clay. We don't want that to that. And I use the wood skewers to put on the fence just to be sure. Then it's going to stand still. And I made a ball and I like a triangle shape. And I'm marking where the nose are going to be. I am just putting a circle in white and a little pink nose. And actually it's not a little pink nose, it's a kind of big pink nose. Then if you look at my picture, the end result and the beginning of the video or at the end of the video, you're gonna see that the nose looks smaller. And the end, that was really bothering me. So after it was done and dry and ready, I covered that pink with the white and I made it a little tinier pink nose. I don't know why, every time that I will walk by, that will kind of bother me. So I decided to change. Even though it was dry and ready, you can still change. You just need to think how can you do that without messing everything up. I got this at a dollar store. It's like a flat sheet moss. And I just use the normal clay, not the light air dry clay. Any clay you can use air dry clay, then it's a little heavier for the base because I want that to hold everything. I cut it the same shape I needed, put a little bit of glue, and I'm gonna place the moss sheet on top of it. I'm just waking up the grass, moving them around to don't be so flat. And you see then I have a little bit of extra clay on those sides is because I want to put flowers there too. So I put glue and I'm using green clay to set them apart. Don't worry, we are not going to see that. That's just to hold the fence and hold the flowers. So that's kind of like our cement. I'm just using green because once I put all the flowers there and things like that, it's just gonna give that shadow light green there, but you will not gonna see it. I'm using white glue and sticking them down, and I will let this dry before I try to do anything overnight. I actually put the fence together and start setting up the next day with the bunny and the little mouse. Just like that. And now we're gonna hide with little dry flowers. I fell in love when I got this little tray with flowers. I actually order more. Normally I like to buy one to see if it works, and it was awesome and looks so pretty. But I bought some other ones. Let's see if I get different colors. But I just think that's such a cute detail that makes the piece pop. And I don't know, it just inspired me. And that's why I wanted to make this bunny, because I thought that the picture was pretty, because I want to use the flowers that I got. Do you guys do that when you have something that you need to make it just because you want to use it? Or it's just me? Just let me know down in the comments if you like have something in your head and you need to make it just to get over it. So you see that I'm getting all the little different colors, all kind of like pastel, pink, purple, light blue, and I'm going all around. I put in the top of this fence, as I told you, then I was going to leave the little hole to put it there, and that little extra clay then I left right there as well. You can go as crazy as you want, put flowers everywhere, or you even make clay flowers. I just wanted to use this one. So as you can see, I'm putting up and down and covering all that green with different colors. I'm in love with this light blue, so delicate and pretty. So I needed to use it. So I kept my color palette and purples and blues and pinks. And now my fence is dry overnight. I'm using a little bit of green, a little bit of brown, and white for my wood. So I will put some of the green, and then where the knots are the wood, I will make it darker, and the rest we're just gonna make it dirty. Go slow with light to dark, because once it's super dark, it's hard to get it off, but you can make it always darker. As you can see, that's the way I want it to look, and I left it overnight to dry. I'm using a piece of foam to lay this over, not just because it's easier for you guys to see, but it's because it's soft just enough to hold all this and don't mess it up my flowers on the base. And I'm using crazy glue to glue everything in place, even the bunny and the little mouse. As you can see, we left that little extra clay that is just hiding up there, and he is kind of like hanging in the fence because he wants to be just like the bunny. And I'm gluing all there, and actually he doesn't have a body, just the head and the little tail and footsies. I'm gonna let it dry, and then after I'm gonna go over, make his eyes with the pen and make his cheeks a little pink. And as the same thing, I'm using the chalk pastel to make my bunny have a little pink cheeks. And I'm also use that same pink color to give that skin color clay that we put inside the ears a little pop. So I am going to go very gentle right between the white and where that skin color gets to each other, where we put the stitches, just to give a little pop and a little color. And I did that the same thing on the other ear. I put the legs together and I glued them before putting in the fence. And I'm putting that mark, then we put it in the feet right there and let it dry a little bit before I put the rest of the bunny on. So for the meanwhile, when I'm letting everything kind of sit down on the fence and let it dry, I made 2 eyes for the bunny. And now we're gonna place his head over the fence on the body. That's why we needed the body to have that little hole on the back. See, you don't see it. I am going to put the other ear as well with crazy glue. And hold a little bit until it's stuck in there, and then you let it dry, and then we go over the next step. Does it need to be a little bit patient, since you're setting up so many things on top of a little piece of clay to make the fence. So take your time to put it together and let it dry to go to the next step. I made a ball for the little hand that then is over the fence. Actually, the two arms we need to make. So one is he's just putting the hand there, and the other one I am going to see more of his arm. I made a teardrop shape, and I'm folding it and placing between his face and the fence, like he is holding up right there. And I need to put more flowers. You know, I wanted to make this just because of the flowers, so I decided to put this little pretty blue and pink flower up there and get some little purple. And suddenly she was a bunny, not a boy bunny, because in the beginning I didn't know. So now she's a girly bunny. She has flowers on her ears as well, and it looks super cute. I know then you can buy tons and tons of decorations for Easter in your house, but if you put the love and the kids see that you made it for them, it makes it even more special. So I'm gonna let it dry, see if I need more glue for my flowers, and check that out. And I made a little ball for the tail, and I'm gluing in the back, and you also can use a pom-pom for that if you want to. And she is done. She is super cute. It helped me keep my head busy and this crazy time we were living and making our house a little ready for Easter next week. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Be safe, be home, and I talk to you guys on my next video. Bye.